fight fans joining us and the millions watching around the world. Out of the red corner.
Yes, ladies and gents, good afternoon. Welcome back to another Korner podcast with me, Ross. I hope everyone's well today. Another one of the Thailand fighters I've got on today, doing them in the afternoon instead of the evening, just for the time difference. I've got Jonny Tello on today. He's been around the sport a long time. He's fought for the BKB and many other things, fight circus he's been part of as well. But he's on the BKFC Thailand card against Sawatsuk. So looking forward to that one. So without further ado, here he is, ladies and gents. Jonny Tello, everyone. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much for agreeing to come on. Much appreciated for your time.
Yeah, I know, man. Thanks for having me, buddy.
No worries at all. So it's fight week for you, 4th of November, Saturday coming, BKFC Thailand. How does fight week look for yourself?
You know what? I think this week is probably a more comfortable fight week than the regular fight weeks. I don't know why. I think it's because the fight was taken on a 3 weeks notice and it came by fast. And I think I'm a lot more relaxed than I usually am. Normally, sometimes the week before the fight, I get a little like, it's going to happen this week. But no, this time around, I was like, okay, a few days. All right, let's go. Yeah.
So yeah, you took the fight on short notice, but do you always kind of keep yourself active and busy in the gym?
Yeah, I was getting myself prepared for a possible fight in BKFC UK, which the original was supposed to be in London, then it changed to Newcastle, and then it changed to Leeds. So I ended up just talking to them and saying, okay, maybe we'll do this fight around February or March, and so I was training for that, and then I had a pro boxing fight about a month ago. I put my foot off the pedal a little bit and didn't train too hard up until Chapman messaged me saying, do you know anybody that wants to fight at 85 kg? And I said, against who? And then he showed me the photo of the guy I'm fighting, and I know him very well, not personally, but I've seen the Prayer Before Dawn movie, and I know about him. With the whole fame, because he's pretty famous here in Thailand. So I was like, yeah, for sure, I'll do it. So I just hopped back onto the gym, and then I just started training. So I've been full on for the last 3 weeks.
Excellent. That's the picture there. So Sawatsuk versus Tello. So have you trained with him before or anything like that? You just kind of know him, or?
No, one time I did I fought Moss fight before, and Mass fight. I think it's Moss fight. I fought a 1 9-minute round boxing fight with MMA gloves, and before my Moss fight card started, there was a boxing event, and he was the headlining of that show. So I watched him fight in front of me against this black guy, and then after his show was done, I did the Moss fight, and then I ended up winning by KO. So I saw him fight personally there, and people told me, "Oh, that's the guy that's famous for going to prison and fighting his way out of prison." So I was like, "Cool." And
Wow.
then after that, I watched the movie Pray Before Dawn, and then I saw him. He's like the final boss.
He does look like a final boss, doesn't he?
He was in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got Nick Chapman in there in the comments. Appreciate it, Nick. It's great to have Jonny on. He didn't even hesitate when offered the fight. Absolute warrior. That's what promoters want. You kind of guys just say yes and that's it. No questions asked.
Hey, you know what? Like in this fight game, a lot of the times it's not even about your skill level. It's about or even like sometimes it's just about opportunities. And it's very important to capitalize on certain opportunities that come your way. For example, my last bare knuckle fight, which was against Barry Jones, it was like super random. They were just like John Nutt, the CEO of Fight Circus, was like, "Hey, I think these guys in BKB, they're gonna do a show here, and they want some guy to fight some guy named Barry Jones. Apparently, he's the next big thing." And I was like, "All right, sure, I'll do it." He's like, "Cool, I'll put your name in." And then I Googled him, and I was like, "Isn't this guy the champion?" And he's like, "I don't think so." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, he is the champion." And then I Googled him more, and apparently he's the GOAT. And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, well now I really want to do it." And then he really put in a word for me to get that fight, and then they accepted it. And then so it ended up being quite a battle. Yeah, that fight was intense.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So how's it all came around to you to living in Thailand? Because obviously you're Canadian originally.
Yeah. I came here for like 3 months on vacation, went back home, and I was like, I want to go back and start training. I got into an accident like years ago. I got half my nose cut off and reattached, and I couldn't fight. So when I was like over just working normal life, I was like, I want to do what I wanted to do originally and fight. So I'll go to Thailand where I can fight like every week if I wanted to. 3 months in, I had 3 Muay Thai fights, and then the COVID happened. And then I got stuck here with the pandemic. And then after 2 years, I kind of made a living here, and I was like, I'm not going back. And then after pandemic, inflation went up. Everyone's complaining about how expensive everything's getting. And I'm just like, I'm not going back for sure. Well, and plus I live in Toronto, so it's freezing cold out there, Like I don't want to go back in the winter. Fuck that
shit. The Canadian winters are brutal, aren't they?
Yeah, Toronto's not as cold as Calgary, but I think it's colder in a sense because in Calgary it's dry, so it's not so bad. But in Toronto it's like humid, and it's like, in the summertime it's like Thailand, in the wintertime it's fucked.
Yeah, we were talking off camera before. I was saying that I lived in Calgary for a couple of years. I trained out with a great gym there, Champions Creed, which had Nick Ring was there. He used to fight in the UFC, and me and Hakeem Tyrone, who's in the UK, BFC now, UFC now, should I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you've taken the fight on short notice and everything. How's everything kind of sitting with you now? Things are ramping up.
Yeah, you know what? It's just a fight, Like I have like I think about 87, 88 amateur boxing fights. Plus I got tons of MMA fights and Fight Circus fights and boxing fights, MMA fights, all this other stuff. So I'm reaching almost, I think I'm at almost 100 fights. So after a while, you just kind of get used to it, and it's just kind of like a next thing to do, Your brain changes in the reason why you fight. And now I'm fighting because I want to, and that's the best kind of reason to fight, instead of having to, like a couple of years ago, was like, I have no money, I have to fight, or I don't eat, now things are more comfortable, and I'm like, now I want to fight because I want to fight. And it makes everything much better knowing that it's my choice to do it,
Yeah, it's one of the questions I normally finish on is, why do you fight, and what does it mean to you to fight? But you've answered that perfectly there.
Yeah, because I want to.
Yeah. Do you just love it?
Yeah, especially after the Barry fight in January. A lot of people don't know, but he actually fractured my neck in that fight. Wow. When he knocked me down in the 3rd round. The reason why I know this is because like months later, then my neck wouldn't get better, and I didn't know why. So I went to the hospital, and they had an X-ray, and they said I had a spider fracture, which means that someone contorted my neck like this. So I watched the fight over again. There was a couple of times, but I think it was when he did that boom, boom, 1-2 and knocked me down. And then Bob Sapp actually fucked up my neck before that in that pillow fight at Fight Circus. He gave me a good 12-6 on top of my head, and my neck was fucked for a while. And then they gave me that fight because they didn't want to give me anything serious to protect me for that Barry fight. And I ended up getting more fucked up from that fight than anything. And then, after I broke my neck in that fight, I was like, the pain was like real intense, and it was a long, took me about 6 months to get better. But when Barry Jones fought again, he knocked this guy out in like 58 seconds, and BYB. And Paulie Maldonado at the end was like, I really want to meet the guy. I went the distance with him in Thailand. And Mike Goldberg was like, I want to know who Jonny Tello is. And I was like, whoa, that's sick. That's crazy. And I was like, that just made me, I was like, you know what, maybe I should still fight because Mike Goldberg wants to meet me, like if I quit now, it'll never happen. So let's do it. Yeah. And then I started fighting because at that point I was like, maybe I don't need to fight anymore. But then after I heard that, I was like, okay, now I'm definitely. Next day I went back to the gym. Yeah.
Is this going to be your first fight in the BKFC?
No.
Fought for the BKFC before?
No, so my first bare knuckle fight was BKB, which is in Thailand. I won by knockout, and then my next fight I fought Sinsuma Klimni, which is like he's pretty famous in Thailand. He fought for the world title and won championship a couple of times, I think, and he lost against one of the best pound for pound Muay Thai guys in the world. And he ended up knocking out Nicky Holson after that fight. So that fight was in Pattaya, and BKFC Thailand won. And it was a very close fight. He slid my eyelid down the middle, and after that fight, they gave him a split decision win, and that was my first BKFC fight. And then after that, I didn't fight bare knuckle for like a year or something like that. More, I couldn't really get fights after that. And then BKB gave me an opportunity to fight for the title, and I went the distance with Barry Jones.
Yeah, amazing. Is BKFC where you want to see yourself staying though, and carrying on with that?
You know what? That was one of the reasons why I didn't follow through with BKB, because BKB was going to offer me some money in the beginning, but I didn't really like the way they kind of went around things. And I don't know. They were talking to me like, I worked construction before, like they were my foreman, and I didn't like that. And, I was thinking long term. I was like, how much money can I really make in BKB? And I see like a lot of guys that are like, used to do these posts where they have all the great champs there, and they're all working construction, and they're, like smiling. And the caption was, would you imagine going to work with these guys? And you see all the comments like, it's kind of embarrassing that these guys are still working, when they have such great fights and they're at the top of the game. And I was like, I do not want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy like, like someone like Ken Shamrock, like where he's such a great fighter and has a long history, but how much money did he really make? Because he was a pioneer. So I figured that in BKFC, if I'm going to do bare knuckle in anything, I know that if you get to the top of BKFC, you can get paid a little bit more, a pretty decent amount. So that's why I was like, I might as well just try it in BKFC than BKB, because I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel eventually, if you can make it there. Yeah.
I think as well with the BKFC, the way things are as it stands, with it being a relatively new organisation, 3, 4, 5 fights, you could be up there for a world championship as well.
Yeah, you can. They do like rely a lot on your popularity, beforehand. I think that's a little bit more important in BKFC. That's why they give like a lot of opportunities to the UFC fighters, and it's totally understandable. That's why I work. I work on my social media and stuff like that. A lot of BKFC fighters, BKB fighters have like, a couple hundred followers, a couple thousand followers. I don't have that much. I got like 15,000, but like, it's still better than a lot of other guys, and I do that on purpose because I realize that social media gives you opportunities. It's whether you think it's right or not, but it is what it is.
So I've said to a couple of the UK guys, work on your social media, build your platform, build your profile. Like you say, the opportunities come along. On a sport that relies on you to sell tickets as well for them. You need that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's sometimes that it's tedious working on the social media. It really is. And it's annoying. I really wish I could pay someone to do it for me, but I pay someone to do the social media for my gym, and it's working a lot. So I might throw in, hey, can you do mine too?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's, even like for sponsors, you gotta make sure they ask you, can you do a quota of how many posts a week? And sometimes I'm there, I have to do like protein shakes, and I'm like shaking the protein and making it and drinking it like, and I'm just like, God, this is so cringy. I don't want to do this, but I got to do it because it's my sponsors, and they help me a lot. So it's part of it. Yeah.
The card that you're on is unbelievable, isn't it? The BKFC card, Thailand. Here it is there. I mean, that main event is unbelievable for any Thai fighting fans to be able to watch these two go at it. Bakau and Sanchai. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, I never thought they'd ever fight each other, let alone in bare knuckle.
Yeah.
It is bare knuckle Muay Thai, so we'll see how it goes down. Sometimes these great fights can either be a dud or they can be great. So we'll see how it is.
I hope it's going to
I'm
be
excited
great.
to see it, though. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
I'm staying around for sure to watch that fight.
Yeah. Is there any other fights on the card that you're interested in?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I like supporting my friends. So, like the Peaceful Warrior, he's like my homeboy. We trained for like years together in Samui. He's one of my best friends in Thailand. I love that guy, and obviously rooting for him. I'm also with Chris Kirsch and TJ Chang. I know them both very well. TJ, we meet up sometimes, like rarely, but he's a cool guy to talk to. Chris Kirsch, like I consider him as a friend, and yeah, I'm excited to see that. I kind of know what's gonna happen, but we'll see. We'll see if I'm proven wrong or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk shit, but yeah, I know Chris Kirsch. He's a serious dude. He's not a normal guy in any sense of the way. He's a former special ops sniper, and he does like King of the Streets, like where like you can bite people's ears off and shit.
Yeah, it's vicious,
Yeah.
that one. Brutal.
Yeah. So I got my money on Chris.
Yeah. Britton Hart was supposed to be fighting on this card as well, but unfortunately she's broken her hand against Mel Shah in the title defense. But
well,
yeah,
that
got a
was
replacement there.
That was not that long ago too, right? So, sorry, that was not that long ago too. So I could imagine you get injured like that, especially if it's so close to that fight. But yeah, it would have been cool to meet. Would have been cool to meet her.
Yeah, definitely. Before we wrap this up, then, mate, have you got any sponsors that you want to give a shout out to at all, or gyms, coaches, teammates?
Yeah. I like to shout out Elite Gym and Elite Nutrition and Swedish Supplements. They've been helping me a lot. They're my full on sponsoring me. Give me all the nutrition stuff, protein, BCAAs, everything I need, plus free gym memberships to do like weightlifting and stuff and personal training. Also Wagyu Boys. Yeah, they sell cannabis, but they're my boys too, and they've been helping me out a little bit. Harlan, he's a fine dining restaurant celebrity chef. He's got a great restaurant here in Pattaya. He's been helping me out too. Also, Fight Life Culture. Go way back. They're my original sponsors, and they carried me through the hard times. And Legends MMA and back in Brampton, they've been supporting me since. Yeah, he's one of the only guys that ever believed in me when nobody else did, and really kind of funded me while I had no money here in Thailand. So, yeah, and God, I hope I'm not missing any of them. There's a lot of them. Yeah,
I'm sure you'll thank them on your own social media.
I'll just blame it on my brain damage after if I forget.
I'll finish up on this question, my friend. What can we expect to see from Jonny Tello? BKFC Thailand, 4th of November. If you can't make it, download the BKFC app.
Yeah, what to expect?
Yeah.
It's going to be a good fight, man. I'm going to go balls deep on this one, man. I'm going to go out and lay him out on the floor, bro. I'm going to try to knock him out. If not, I'm going to, school him with technique. He's a lot older than me now. I think he's in his 40s now. I'm 32, so I'm in my prime. He's ending his prime, and despite his fame and his reputation and things he's done, I respect all of that. But, there's a reason why I went to distance with Barry Jones. I'm going to show that. And this is just the beginning. So bring it on.
Excellent, my man. I wish you the very best of luck, and I appreciate your time coming on in the Red Corner podcast. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you having me.
No problem. Well, best of luck, and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, you too, man. Thank you.
Jonny Tello, ladies and gents. Nick Chapman, you're there in the comments again. If you want to jump on, you're more than welcome to jump on. Come on the podcast. Be happy to have you. I've sent you a message on Instagram. Appreciate everyone's time. Thank you very much. Jab that like button. Jab the subscribe button. Jonny Tello is going to put on an amazing performance. I've got every faith in him. Like I said, download the BKFC app for the price of a couple of pints a month, you'll be able to watch all the events, all the shows, all the live streams, BKFC Thailand, BKFC Europe, BKFC Bulgaria, BKFC Africa now. And of course, BKFC UK, only just under 3 weeks away from that. BKFC 55 Leeds, 18th of November. Get your tickets from your local fighters. And I appreciate everyone's time, like I say. So thanks very much, and I'll speak to you all later.
For the fight fans joining us and the millions watching around the world.
Out of the red corner,